You go there. There we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are going to be back to doing some character creation for Evwin Dawnstar. So just a quick recap, sorry, make fun on the pocket, on who Evwin Dawnstar is. She is a wood elf who, in her younger years, well, I'm just not even gonna go into that because that's literally the part we're going to next. So, Evwin Dawnstar, wood elf, dancer assassin, who's a monk. And if you remember, we rolled for these numbers, so that's why it looks a little bit different than normal. And let me verify everything is live there. Okay. And I'm now live here, but it's not showing me my live picture, so let's hop back. Join my own live stream right now. Also, the other thing I always forget to do ahead of time, retweet. So important to do so. So little brain power to remember to do so. Let's see, we're looking for Nerdologists. Tap tweet. We tweet. I'll like it too. There we are. Okay. So, let's just zoom in. Ooh. Not the right one. I zoomed in on my web browser. Things I don't want to do because I don't like them. I zoom in on my web browser. So let's just quickly go through these personality traits that you can half see. But I get bitter if I'm not the center of attention. I collect local rumors and spread gossip. The world is in need of new ideas and bold actions. I idolize a hero of old tales and measure my heads is clearly not the right word. Deeds against theirs. A scandal prevents me from ever going home again, and trouble follows me. So then we wrote up a little bit back here on the Zavolian Droop and Essel Greenwick. And now we're really going to be getting into this section here, backstory. As a young elf, Evwin was very talented. She quickly gained renown for her dance, and people would come from far away to see her perform. She assumed she would always be the best, so she didn't work too hard at her craft. One day, another elf oh, isn't she lovely? Such a cute little kitty cat. One day, another elf in her school became the star of the show, showing up Evwin and taking away her spotlight. Evwin first became very jealous. Not even first. Evwin became very jealous. And she was heard very jealous, and she was heard saying she hoped something would happen to this other dancer. A couple of weeks later, the other dancer was found dead. Evwin claimed her in a innocent. But no one in the town believed her. Fearing for her life, she took off, running away from home. The age of 35. That's still fairly young for an elf. Are you stealing my dice bag, Biddy? Yes, you are. Fearing for her life, she took off, running away from home at the age of 35. She wandered around for a few years, performing on streets in large cities, or hey, or in taverns for some small coin. She wasn't able to make a living from that, so she started stealing. There was one day where she got caught stealing from a wagon as she traveled from one city to another. The wagon was of the Zavolian troop, and Ussel Greenwick was impressed by her skills. He offered her a job in the troop if she could perform, and she's been working with them since. So, as Kristen pointed out, this is a bit of a potential Tanya Harding situation where, for those of you who may not be familiar with who Tanya Harding is, she was a women's figure skater who had her, I think, boyfriend at the time hurt her biggest rival. However, I did leave this open. I would work potentially with the dungeon master on this. Did Evwin actually take out or try to have taken out her biggest competition? Or was there something else going on and Evwin was just a very obvious patsy fall person that somebody else was able to use? So I like kind of leaving that question open, and maybe the DM really doesn't even tell me as the player for a while what the case may be. If it becomes part of the story, then I would expect them to tell me which way they're planning, because that's going to determine how I play the game, since my character knows. Now, if I don't hear anything from the DM, I'm going to assume that it is not my player intentionally hurting another character or another person in this world, because she won't really know who actually did it. So that's kind of what I'm looking at when I'm creating this story. Now, the big thing also too with this story is that because her story really makes a lot of sense, and I'm kind of building it for that game where everybody's playing members of the Zavolian troop, and so I'm not too worried about being a little bit more specific in my backstory, getting myself to the point where I'm in the troop. But I still did try and leave a few things open where, like, she runs away quite young, so does she have any connections to home? What's happening with her family? All that stuff can be used. There's her criminal past before joining the troop. What happened then? Is there something that's going to come back and bite her because of it? And finally, then there's the big question that we've already been talking about. Did or didn't she actually kill somebody? I would be fine either way as a player. I did say up here that she is chaotic neutral. I think that could be a variety of those of different characters types who would be either in the troop who are either chaotic neutral or lawful neutral. Any of those really work. I think that neutral is very much a requirement. I don't think good fits into it. So now that I have her in place, I want to talk a little bit about, okay, now that I have this character, I'm switching the roles, and I'm going to be the DM for a group of 4 players who are playing these different characters, who are playing all members of the Zavolian troop. So, I was also going to point out that I made that flaw a huge part of her background. And that flaw, like how trouble follows her around, it comes down to the fact that, like, she's been to a lot of these major cities before, or at least some of them, and she's stolen stuff from a lot of those cities as well. While the whole troop might be really welcome, she just has to kind of try and avoid some people in certain situations. I really don't know how I'm tying this ideal in yet, The I am get bitter if I'm not the center of attention. Clearly in the background story, that happens. And who she idolizes, we'll have to figure that out too as we go along. But now switching sides, like I said, I was going to do it towards the side of the dungeon master. There's how I'd run a game like this, and kind of how I'd level up people and what I'd be looking for is I would really pay attention to things, in particular pay attention to having arcs. I would have like 3 or 4 sessions just be them in one town dealing with one mercenary thing, and then after that's done there maybe be a 30 minutes of an episode where it's like, okay, restock, what are you doing, or restock, here's your next mission, sort of thing. What do you do while you travel? I would also use that time to level up characters. I think in a game like this, it makes more sense, and especially early on, to level up after every single arc, where they go in, they steal something, you level them up. They go in, they assassinate somebody, you level them up. Now once they get to about level 4, it would probably be every 2. And then once they get to like level 8, I'd probably do it on bigger events. Sorry, I have to go check on somebody, or a couple somebodies. Crabby pants. Alright, Crabby Pants, we're back. Before I put on the mic. Hi, Kristen. I know you're watching the live stream. Maybe. It's Ernie. Say hi. Whee! Sorry for this noise. Alright. So, getting back to how I run this game. So that is how I would kind of go about leveling it up. That's how I would break it out. No, video is frozen. Let me check my video over here. I still see myself moving. And I dropped a few frames for a little bit. So hopefully I'm back now. You guys are brats. Okay. So, getting back to how I would run this. It's fun to do stuff in small arcs, and it's something that I kind of want to get better at with Dungeons and Flagons, is to have like that 4 or 5 episode arc and then every once in a while, like, you deal with something for 10 episodes and it's a longer chunk of story, or really how we record stuff, it'd be 8 to 10 episode arcs, and then every once in a while there's a 20 episode thing that happens. So but along with that, you do want to still maintain some sort of bigger storyline. So in this sort of game, I would start probably after 2 or 3 missions where they've been successful, start to kind of be like, hint at and show them like, maybe it's just one person who's paying for them to do stuff. Maybe it's they spot something that's amiss or common at all of these places. Something to start getting them into the mindset like, oh, this is a bigger picture than I would have expected. Like, it isn't that we're just doing random missions that we're getting paid for, but there's somebody who has a specific plan for these missions. I tend to think that way you can continue doing the missions, but as you start doing those missions, you would start to try and figure out like, okay, what am I going to do in these missions? So I realized at this point in time there is one last thing to do to get our character ready for first level. It's called shopping. And we are using the roll the dice method for shopping. And monks get absolutely screwed when it comes to shopping. I'm going to use the die roller from the Wizards of the Coast. Because this would be annoying to do. We are rolling 5d4. No modifier. All the others, you multiply the result by 10. Here, you just roll the result. We have a grand flipping total of 15 gold pieces. And I doubt we're going to get much higher even if I average out 5 rolls. 15, 13, 13, 14, 13. Yeah, we'd be sitting basically at 13 or 14 gold pieces, so we're going to go with 15 since that seems a whole lot better. Now, we don't need to buy armor. That's really nice. That saves us all the gold pieces that we'd ever want. So, looking at our weapon options, and we're really trying to buy stuff that make a ton of sense for somebody who's going to be an assassin or something like that. We're going to buy a whole bunch of darts because darts are dirt cheap. We can buy, let's see, 10 silver to a gold piece, 10 copper to a silver. So 20 darts costs us 1 gold piece. And 4 daggers costs us another, we're going to go 40 darts and 4 daggers, because that costs us a grand total of 10 gold pieces. We still have 5 gold pieces left over. There is some downside to this. We are definitely not able to afford any of the packs. I guess I could cut both of these back down, so I could go 2 and 20, have a grand total of 0 pieces left, and grab an Explorer's Pack. I think I'll do that. It gives us some of the stuff that's just really useful to have, and as much as it would kind of be fun to just be loaded up with weaponry, there is no need for it. So dagger. Attack bonus is going to be dex. So +5 to hit, and then damage is 1d4 +3 of the piercing variety. So remember that you add your proficiency bonus to your ability to hit, but not to your damage. Then we have a dart, +5, I'm pretty sure. Dart. Finesse, yep. And, stupid thing. 1d4 +3. Piercing damage. Both have a range of 20 to 60 feet. The difference is, with a dart, those are meant to be thrown. A dagger can be thrown. I'm not going to say it's not meant to be thrown, but in this situation, it's for the close-up stab. So, I like these weapons too as being kind of like little sneaky weapons, and I'm actually going to change out dart. They don't have it on the list. Oh, they do. It's 10 gold pieces. Shoot. And it's that's annoying. So they have a blowgun. I was going to make it into a blowgun. Yeah, no, that would use up all of my money to just get a blowgun. So I like the darts and the dagger better. Eventually, I could see about turning her into a blowgun assassin. That'd be fun. No one would know what hit them. And we do get a couple of random trinkets. So we're going to take our 2d10, the one that has the percentile, which is the one, so the 8, 0, etc. So we have like 74. So we have a fan that unfolds to show a sleeping cat, and one other trinket. 81 is purple handkerchief embroidered with the name of a powerful archmage. I think the handkerchief is definitely something embroidered is definitely something that she's stolen in the past. The fan, I can see her buying that as potentially as a flight of fancy sort of thing. But the handkerchief, since it has the name of a powerful art mage, definitely something that she's stolen. So I have a couple options what I could do here going forward. I think I'm going to leave her at level 1. We're going to save it. Ooh, yeah, Kristen says the fan could definitely be used as part of her act. That'd be really good for a dancer. I'm dancing. For those of you who don't know what that is the robot, the annoying claptrap robot from by annoying I mean hilarious, Borderlands. So I'm actually going to go through right now and build another member of the troop. So I have to get to the right folder. Character sheet's clean. Come on, catch up. And to be like, okay, this is what a whole gang of these people could look like, slash, it could be, oh, wow, I'm scrolling random things. It could be part of what she, or not what she does, but it would be actually work really well for a con game eventually, or a one-shot if I have some people that want to learn how to play D&D, and I can have characters that are already built for them. So our next member of this troop is going to be a little bit more out there. We are going to go with Dragonborn. I don't have a name planned for him because I wasn't thinking ahead that I'd do this. Arjan is a really cool name though. And Nemesis. Arjan Nemesis. The reason for picking this is so I get +2 to strength and what was it? +1 to charisma. But the nice thing about this, so Dragonborn reach adulthood at the age of 15. So I'm actually going to fill in age right now. I'm going to make him a little bit older at 45. So Dragonborn lived to about 80, about the same length as humans, maybe a little bit shorter. So he's a little bit up there already in years. And let's zoom back in quickly here. Maybe. There we are. Proficiency bonus, let's just take care of that. +2. And he is going to be, I believe it is, where is, yeah, a gold Dragonborn. The reason for picking gold is because all Dragonborn get breath weapons. He's going to be lawful neutral. Just picking that now. And since they have breath weapons, that's really good for an act. Granted, he can only do it once for a short rest, but something with fire would be really cool. I'm going to roll for height and weight. Has a walking speed of 30 feet. Draconic ancestry. We picked that already. And we can do the breath weapon. Once per short rest. Sorry, this is... chair's not lined up where I want it to be. You use your action to exhale destructive energy. Your draconic ancestry determines the size, shape, etc. of damage. So like this is a 15-foot cone. There are some of them that just go in a straight line. It's a dexterity saving throw. And it's per short rest. You can use your breath, fire breath. attack in a 15-foot cone. And to go along with that, it deals 2d6 damage. That does go up, or half on a saving on a dex saving throw of 10 plus, is it 10 or 8? 8 plus 2 plus Arcana modifier. 8 plus 2 plus Con. So let's do we're going to continue doing the rolling method since all of these characters are supposed to be in the same world. So everybody's going to get the stats done the same way. First one, oh my goodness, I rolled 4 dice and got 4 6s. Somebody tell me the odds of that happening, or somebody send me a lottery ticket right now. And then a 6 5 6. I am on fire. It's ridiculous. A 4 4 5. Not bad. I'm just telling you what the high 3 are. 6 6 2. This is going really well. 6 4 5. Really well. It's going so well that I only have 3 dice out for the last one, and I'm just going to roll that and see what number I get, and I got a 6 6 2. So yeah, this is insane, as Kristen says, Yahtzee. I'm going to use one of the 14s in my strength to get a 16. My constitution is going to be 18 plus 4. And the saving throw is going to be 8 plus 2 plus 4. 14. That is really good. That is really, really good. That's 3. I have over here, so I've used that one as well. I have a 17. There's no reason I shouldn't put that into my charisma. Get another plus 4. I have a 14. 14 to intelligence, so that's a plus 2. And then I have a 15 and a 13 left. I'm actually going to put the 13 into dexterity, and I'm going to re-roll this last one. The numbers here are just so insanely high across the board that it would just turn into a completely broken character. So that's better. That's an 11. And that kind of matches the same case with Evwin for Arjan, where they're above average at everything. He is way above average at a lot of these things, but above average. Is there a spot to put resistances? There's not. It'd be nice if they had a separate spot to put down what you're resistant to, but I'm going to do damage resistance fire. So fire deals half damage to us, and we speak common and draconic. So there are certainly a number of different ways I could go with this build. I was really planning on doing strongman, so I'm going to go do strongman. This would make an absolutely ridiculous bard or druid. No, excuse me, it would not make a great druid. And a ridiculous bard or paladin, where they both cast off of charisma. That would just be an insane number to start out with. But instead, we're going to go with fire. Why? Because we can. Really. I mean, start out with 14 hit points. So that's a D10 hit points for a fighter. Initiative score is only +1. And strength and constitution. So +5 on the saving throw for strength, +1 for dexterity, +6 for constitution, +2, 0, and +4. So you can see, like, this is why I wanted to roll again, to really give an idea of how out of control rolling can get. Like, Kate's stats kind of look like this. I think he's leveled some stuff up to higher numbers, but I mean, these are just ridiculous stats that make the work for myself as a DM a whole lot harder, because now I have to figure out, okay, how am I going to create something that's challenging enough for our Dragonborn fighter, but not so challenging that our first level monk gets killed just like that. We have some proficiencies, of course. All armor and shields. And simple, it's all weapons. They, for some reason, write in the book, simple weapons, martial weapons. That's all the weapons. And as a fighter, you should be that good at it. So we get to pick a fighting style for him. I don't think he's going to use a shield. So I'm not going to do protection. I'm not going to do defense, that just gives me a +1 bonus to my AC. I'm not going to do archery. He is definitely built as an archer. Dueling. When you are wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain +2 bonus to damage rolls with that weapon. Or great weapon fighting, I think, makes the most sense. When you roll a 1 or 2 on a damage die for an attack you make with a melee weapon that you are wielding with 2 hands, you will roll the die and use the new result, even if the new roll is a 1 or a 2. Yeah, I like that one. This guy is insane. Oh, I gotta choose skills. 2 of them. Athletics. And which will help with his strongman stuff. And intimidation. He's a dragonborn. He's gonna be scary as fluff. Or scary as fuck, if you're not a cat. Which he really is. +6 at level 1 is ridiculous. Also, that E in weapon does not have to be capitalized. And so you can see in this case, as compared to Evwin, where I built her with a background first. Here, I'm starting with the class. So we also get the second wind ability. You can use a hit die as a bonus action on your turn, once for short or long rest. That one's quite useful. Let's go and pick a background. You know where we're going. He is he's an entertainer, but we're gonna go with strongman muscle. It seems slightly redundant, but kind of like how Evwin was a dancer assassin. I maybe should switch that to a dancer thief to go with her background. Strongman muscle, like he was picked up as a probably for the troop by being a bouncer. I'm like, oh, we could use some protection. Why don't you come join us? By popular demand, people generally like you, and if you perform, you get lodging and food. Simple. And I'm going to pick the personality traits because one of them is great. I love a good insult, even one directed at me. That seems very, very fitting. And I like the idea of this big strongman muscle. I'm a hopeless romantic, always searching for the one. That just seems like it would be a really fun personality trait to play to, because it is not what you, when you see a giant person that is extremely strong and they're just a softie, in some ways, not like he's gonna be the muscle, it's just really cute and funny. He is lawful neutral. And we're going to kind of continue with that sappy route because Quiston wants to be his friend. Where I like seeing the smiles on people's faces when I perform. That's all that matters. He's probably not the most effective bouncer or muscle, but that actually kind of makes sense considering he has a ton of charisma. He's probably scaring everybody just by being himself instead of actually pulling out his blade a lot of the times and hacking people apart. Finally, I guess next we have a bond. Oh. Yeah, Kristen is pretty right. He is turning into the Dragonborn version of Andre the Giant. This is really true, especially since I'm going to go with I would do anything. I would do anything for the members of my troop. Technically, in the background, It says old troop, but as we know for this game, what I'm creating the character for, he's in a troop currently. So whatever that troop is, he's going to be, he would do anything for those members. And finally, his flaw. Super obvious. I was going to roll, but then I saw one that is just too perfect. I'm a sucker for a pretty face. That old hopeless romantic, always getting him in trouble. Maybe he falls head over heels for that pretty face of the person they have to rob. Now what's he gonna do? He has to help the members of his troop, but the pretty face. Oh, the conflict, the agony, you can just feel it burning in his soul. Alright, now that I have that weird stuff out of the way, let's actually flip back here and figure out his actual size. Oh, we're not quite to that yet. My good old entertainer gets a couple of skills. I'm gonna put something in the way. Does he fall in love with humans? Because ... I don't think Kristen meant to hit enter. That would be amazing. That'd be kind of entertaining. So I'm going to give his proficiencies. Disguise kit. All of them are proficient with that. And drum. He has in his equipment a drum. A lock of hair from some long lost dreamboat. So yes, he must fall in love with humans because Dragonborn don't have hair. And he has a costume. Plus he gets acrobatics, which are going to be a +3, and performance, which is going to be ridiculous, +6 again. So let's figure out how big is our Dragonborn. The skin color is gold. He is a gold dragon. The eyes are going to be a green-gray. Just seems like that seems fitting. So a Dragonborn starts out with a 5'6" base height, and you roll 2d8. So 4. So he is 6'3". He's 6'1". I'm gonna make him 6'3". Like that better. So that's an extra 9 inches. And then we roll 2d6. So 9 times 8 is 72. Yeah, that's 72. 175. I'm gonna need the calculator again. Should really pin that to the bottom. $72 plus 175. He's 247 pounds. He is huge. Well, not super huge. I mean, he's only an inch shorter than me and 17 pounds heavier. and I'm not huge, but that's going to be a really big, strong dude. Before I forget, click here. Come on. Click on the name, select it, and move it to the next page. Let's go shopping. I think that's the next thing we should do, because I want to show you how much difference in terms of money it can make depending on your class. He's not super perceptive, by the way. He only has a 10 in his passive perception. So, if you remember from a few minutes ago, for our monk, we rolled a grand total of 5d4, and that's all they got. Here, for our fighter, we're going to roll 5d4 again. So I'm going to use the app. We're going to reset it. 5d4. I'm going to take the average of 5 rolls. 11, 7, 13, 14, 13. Cannot do that in my head. I closed the calculator. Let's flip back here. I said 11, 7, 13, 14, 13. 11 plus 7 plus 13 plus 14 plus 13 divided by 5. 11.6. We multiply that by 10, it's 116 gold pieces. 116 gold pieces compared to 15 that a monk starts out with. Why is this important? Because we have to buy armor. 116. I'm going to use a note card to count. Let me keep track of this. 116 minus 75 is 41. 41 gets him chainmail. All the chain letters for him. Chainmail just naturally has an armor class of 16. Really good. We have 41 gold pieces left at this point. He needs a weapon. And he needs a weapon that can be two-handed. That is very important for him as a character. So we're going to use 30 of his remaining gold. He's going to be down to 11. He's actually going to end up with a grand total of 1 gold right now, I can tell you that. He has a great axe and an explorer's pack. And we'll give him 10 darts. Just for the hell of it, and get him to exactly 0 gold pieces. I have successfully broken Kristen, because now she's going to think of chainmail as letters, not armor, whenever it comes up in a game. I'm going to have to bring it up lots. That's can be thrown up to throw in 20 to 60 feet. I should, where's that button? There. Darts can be thrown. Important. So you can throw darts with either dexterity or strength. We are definitely going to throw them with strength. Because our dexterity is kind of bad. With the great axe, is going to deal a lot of damage. A great axe, again strength, plus 5 to hit, but it's 1d12 plus 3. The damage type for that is slashing damage. So there we are. We have him all decked out. I'm going to do one thing quick on this next page here. First things first, I can go back to our Evwin. We can go to the second page eventually here. I'm going to take all of this stuff right here, all the stuff from the allies and organizations, copy that, go back to our character over here, paste that in. Ta-da! He is now set. And tomorrow, since this has now been an hour, I am going to write his backstory. Well, first things first, let's save him. And I'm going to save as. So this is a Dragonborn entertainer fighter. So I'm going to finish writing his backstory tomorrow, and then I'll probably start another new character. This time, it's going to continue to be part of the troop, and the great thing with a troop is that if I had 10 people who wanted to play in this game, I could have 10 people play in this game. Troop can be any size, really. However, now with that, it is time for me to sign off for this evening and wave goodbye. Sorry for noises of moving the mic. Goodbye, humans. Goodbye, humans. I will suck your blood. Peace.